Good afternoon. It's Thursday again. And what delights have we got for you today? Well, we've got a bit of this and a bit of that. I'll give you a quick little scoot as I make my way down to the table. I'll wait for someone to join. Here we go. We've got some people joining us now. That's good. So not a lot, I'm going to say not a lot has changed since Saturday, because it hasn't. With the bank holiday, it kind of puts deliveries back. But Paul's had a bit of a move round, so I might as well show you his handiwork. We've missed one delivery today because there's some kind of, well, we just missed it. They said they can't deliver it till tomorrow. So when you see a few spaces on the wall, that is why. It will be full tomorrow as soon as it comes in. So, he's just wandering up there out the way. Get myself ready. I am going to, I know I was probably early. Yeah, it's 1 minute past. So I'll just wait for a few more to join and then we'll have a spin around. But what can you expect from me today? I've got a little demo lined up. I haven't got a sample actually made to show you, but I know what I'm doing. So there'll be no faffing, just straight on. And what I've got for you today is 2 absolute bargains. Now, they are while stocks last, and they are ridiculously priced. So I'm going to show you them now, and then I'll go over it. Oh, that's the wrong thing. I don't want that. What do I want to do? Here we go. Okay. So I've got 2 items. I've got this gorgeous envelope with a little ticket that you can put in. Should be £13.99. £4.20. Okay, that's the first bargain, and I'm going to be using that in demo. And the second bargain is this stamp set. So if I turn it over so that you can see it coloured in, you've got a beautiful rose, a little envelope, and it says, "You are the love of my life." Now, I'm just going to be focusing on this rose. Should be £6.99, £2.80. If you buy both, that's £7. You're literally paying for that and getting that for free. However, whichever way you want to look at it, absolute bargains while stocks last. We haven't got masses, but we've got enough for you to have a bargain. I'm going to flip around. So it's weird because when these were separated, I didn't realise how much stock we'd got, actually, how many different lines we'd got in these Arden Creative. So we've got all of the Hidden Creek. We've got collections available here of the vintage makers. All of the different stencils, stamps, pet tapes. So many different elements, and they all work together. And in saying that, a lot of these elements are going to work in with stuff that you've got at home in your craft stash, which you'll find out today, because I'm going to use some of these elements in with those 2 items I've just shown you on the table. Another popular items in the shop at the minute are the Jamie Rogers collection. You've got the car, the bike, the steam train, the boat. That one there's an aeroplane. It's invisible, but it will be back tomorrow. The bike, the suitcases, and then this one is the set of stamps and the dies that cut them out. So they'll be back in tomorrow. So just envisage them. Then we've got the Craft Lab items in. So the bugs and different bits and pieces there. You've got some characters. I think one of them's called Marvin. The bottle hanger. I love the telephone box and the food truck. So we've got those. Now, a couple of things that I'm going to talk to you about whilst I'm walking down the shop is that we will be closed on the 17th, Saturday the 17th of May, until we reopen again on Friday the 24th of May, because Paul and I are just going to nick off for a few days in the sunshine. It would be rude not to, wouldn't it, eh? Let's clip you in here so I can... Oh, that's a good view of Paul. And then I'll spin you round. Yep, let's get that in place. That was one thing. Yeah, so at 3 o'clock on Friday the 16th of May, we shut the bricks and mortar store and we reopen on Friday the 23rd of May at 10 a.m. If any orders that come through on the internet, that's absolutely fine. The internet shop is still open, but obviously the orders will get shipped on our return. So they will start leaving here on Friday the 23rd. But we've still got 9 days until that point, but we just wanted to make you aware in case you needed to stock up on any of your essentials and you wanted to make sure that you got delivery before we left. So that's that one. The second bit is Paul has been going along again, taking off items and putting them into the reduced bin and the sales section on the website. So don't forget to check that out because there's always a good bargain to be had. Right, I am going to spin you round. Like so. Just get that into position. Okay. I think that's okay. Well, it looks a bit wonky. I didn't faff with it too much. And there's a reflection there. Let's see if I can put something on it. That covers that. Okay, so I'm going to make a 5x7 card. So that's my card blank. I've just cut it out of my Media Artist card, 10 inches by 7, and just scored it down. And then I've cut a little matten layer for the top, which is 4 3/4 inches by 6 3/4 inches. And I know what you're going to say. You don't normally work in inches. I don't, unless I'm doing a 5x7 card. So this piece here, I'm going to get inky and messy with. And I have gone ahead and let's just bring the die set in. So the Send in Love die set, this element makes the envelope. You've got a couple of little hearts and then you've got the little ticket that you can slide in. And this one is also like a little heart. Like, I think it squeezes in half, if I'm honest with you. So I've gone ahead and die cut those elements, which are here. And it scores. So all you've got to do is just pop that and get those crease marks in. Now, this is a 300 GSM cardstock. So it's quite thick, but it's going to be perfect for the job. So there's my cute little envelope. And this, just ignore the packaging that it's in. Hasn't got to have anything to do with love if you don't want it to. You can pop the little ticket in this way, or it will pop in that way, and you've got the little matten layer for it as well. And I love the fact that it's got that beautiful little deckled edge. So that's the first item I'm using. The second is the beautiful rose. So this one is £4.20. This one is £2.80. And I decided that I wasn't going to do my rose for my project. I'm not going to do it red. I'm going to go... I picked out some colours. I've got picked raspberry and fossilised amber. And then I've got a mowed lawn. But I'll also be dipping into maybe some brush gold or some sunrise yellow. Question, envelope die. What size card can you put in it? I was thinking would be good as gift tags. Right, let me tell you what size this is. This is 7. 4.5 centimetres by just under 7 centimetres is the largest one. And then that's just a bit smaller to go on the top. So if you didn't want to use this piece, but that absolutely just, you could clip a hole in it. I just think that like that, maybe coming out at an angle or going that way, And then you could, it does also, it goes in there, and you could put like a little heart seal on there if you wanted to. It's not business card size, no. But it could go, that could definitely slide in that way. If you wanted to just have it in your journals or something like that and just poke different bits in. I just really like, you know, like cascading flowers. Maybe you've got some smaller die cuts of flowers or some smaller stamps. You could stamp them and having them popping out of the envelope with a little sentiment. I just really, really like the size of this. So the overall size is actually 7 by 5 when it's folded flat. So I hope that question's answered. And I was talking about different bits that we were using. So we're going to use some of the Jamie Rogers metallic ink pads. We've got Brush Gold and Sunrise Yellow. And I've also made spritzers with those using the re-inkers. Everything that I'm using today, you will find on Dragons Papercraft under the Facebook Live section. Alternatively, they're probably all still in the new arrivals section as well. I can tell you that these little spritzer bottles are back in stock. We haven't got masses of them left because they have sold really well. A lot of you that are ordering the re-inkers are ordering the bottles as well because they're a really nice size. So that's those. And then I'm going to be using my hexagon mask from Sweet Bee Memories. I'm going to be using some Arden stamps. So this one is from the Hidden Creek range, and it's letterbox remnants because it's got some nice bits of script in there. And then this one is Maker's Marks from the Vintage Makers collection, which is that one, and the other one, but can't find my packaging for that one. One of my to-do jobs is to, there it is. Oh, no, it's not. Is to sort out this box because after my last live, I chucked everything in it. I found it. Makers Sentiment Clusters. So that's everything that I'm going to be using. And now, without further ado, let's start off with doing some of the roses. So I've got myself some Media Artist card, and I'm just going to ink this up. Give it a good ink. Now I have got 2 done, but I thought I'd do 2 ready to a stage, and then I can take you through what I've done on here. So let's see if we can come down a bit lower. There we go. So to start off with, I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a coating of fossilised amber, and then I'm going to use some picked raspberry. Now I've got to use these as a base because I have done it on the 2 that I've got ready, but I am then going to highlight with the metallic inks. So to start off with, I'm just going to take some of the fossilised amber and quite randomly just fill this in, leaving some white areas. I'm not being careful, but I'm also need to make sure that my brush stays quite juicy. And just getting a bit of yellow all over. And again, if you've got any questions as I'm going along, holler out, and Paul is watching, so we'll be able to alert me. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. Then I'm going to clean off that yellow, and I'm just going to make sure that that's dry. I would dry it with my heat tool, but I forgot to move my table today. Then I'm going to come in and start adding the pink in. So I get to there, take the colour off, and then just soften that edge so you get a nice kind of blend into that yellow. And when I'm doing the watercolouring on the roses, it is never always done in one layer. I'll do a little bit and then I'll move on and I'll come back to it, because I think you get a better result. Add that in. You might lose me a little bit on this because it is a bit therapeutic. And just follow that around. If you struggle and think, oh, I don't know where to put dark bits or light bits, have a look on the packaging, because there is that example there to give you an idea. So just pulling that down, like this one. I'm trying to get it quite neat in the middle because that's going to be the darkest areas. We've got like VE Day celebrations outside. They're starting at 3 o'clock. There's like a vintage market type thing in the car park. So they've got all different sorts of music going on, and we're going to have a moochie when we leave the shop. So I'm just going to go round, adding this in. And I felt like, you know, you can get those beautiful two-tone roses, and that sometimes they're like a beigey yellowy colour, but then they've got like the beautiful pink tips. That's where I was going with this, rather than just a plain red. So just make sure I've got that pink off, and then this can go inside there like so. So I'm going to pull that up a bit closer just so that you can see how that's coming together. And then we're just going to add. There we go.
No, not today, but hospital forward there.
There we go.
We're doing tests and ECGs and everything else, but nothing. No.
Not even his brain. Hiya, Jenny. Are you okay?
Yeah, getting there.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that's my first layer. And then I've got a couple of options. Okay, so if I bring in, well, I'm going to show you both. I'm going to take a little bit of Sunshine Yellow. I'm just going to squish a bit on there. And a bit of the gold. Just spritz a little bit of water in there. And then, so this has got the mica in. And I'm just going to start and deepen up some of these petals. But it's more like a dobbing motion. Even if it's going over. Just to give nice kind of bright.
And then it just go a bit skew with the, because
Okay. Let's have a look at what the gold looks like.
jewelry service. So we're kind of like we've had to cancel
There we go.
workshops.
So if I now go,
But yeah, it's 20, the day after bank holiday,
so that is wet. But if I bring this one in, this one, that one's dry. I'm hoping that you can see that shimmer like I can in real life. It's beautiful. Okay, so all I would do then to that is cut that out. Now this one here is actually a leaf, and we've got a leaf there. and the leaves all around there. Now I did go ahead and colour those in my other one, and I've cut them out separately to use as embellishments. So what I want to do now is, I've got 2 of those. I want to stamp on top of them. So I am gonna just grab from the Letterbox Remnants. Try and put it on my block straight-ish. I'm going to pop a little bit of script on there. And also, I bet you can't all guess, I'm going to put a little bit of something else on there. I'm only pressing very gently on here, but I just wanted to make them a little bit different. So I've got a bit of script. And then, oh, go on then. We'll put a bit of grid on. Just a little bit of grid over the top. Here and there. There we go. Love them, love them. Gives us that kind of effect. And then, let's try and stay a little bit tidy. Don't think I need that. I certainly didn't need all of that amount getting out, did I? Okay. So for our background, let's start off with that there. I'm going to take my hexagon honeycomb mask and just going to rub over some of the mowed lawn. And I'm going to spritz that, and then just going to lay a nice little bit of a print. I quite like that. Pop that to one side. Okay, and I'm just going to let that settle in a little minute. And if I just bring that up to show you, we've got a nice little mix of some little outlines there, and then some stronger bits as well. So just going to take off the moist areas, and then I can continue to work on there. Now I'm going to take some of my pink and my yellow, and just start and blend in little bit of detail. That should be enough. And then what I do want to do now is give this a little bit of a spritz, and I'm feeling, I did make a yellow up, but I think that might be a little bit bright, so I'm going to stick with the Brush Gold. This is just water with a little squeeze from the reinkers in the bottle. I tend to take it up to about there. And then if it's not strong enough, you can add some more in, but you can't take it away. So now I'm just adding in a little bit of that beautiful gold. Now I will need to dry this off. So I'm just going to go and Again, it's going to be really hard for me to show you the shimmer on there, but believe me, it's there and it's beautiful. It's dancing. Just check my colours, make sure that they're matching. Yeah, that's cool. Right, now I need to build up some nice little patterning in the background. So we'll have a bit of our script. Some at the top. Have some off of this side. And some at the bottom. And then we'll have, I must make some storage for all of this. It's just everywhere. I'm taking one of the little ferns. And I'm going to have my oxide pads are not the wettest. Another one just coming off down to this side. Beautiful. And then from the Maker's Mark, we're going to use this beautiful big coffee ring. And I'm going to stamp this in pink. You see, I wonder how a fuchsia pink. I'm just going to look at lots of little taps on this because it's a spongy pad. And then, oh yeah, that's perfect. I'm just going to get a little bit up there and a bit down there. Okay. Sorry about my arm, just reaching for a wipe. There we go. Look at me being tidy. What are you trying to say, Paul? Oh, that's rude. I absolutely love this stamp. Gorgeous. And then we will have, where's that little, it's on this one. The metallic inks just work in really well alongside your other inks, whether it's dye-based or your oxides. So I'm just adding in now a little bit of, it's very tiny, it's a tiny stamp, but just that little hint of pink is just pulling everything. If you can just see, this is where we're kind of heading towards. Okay, so we've got a bit of detail. It's going to be quite a bright one, I'm not going to lie to you. But I'm feeling in a bright mood today. Okay. What'd you say?
Like the sunshine.
And like the sunshine, yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably about enough for now. Now let's have a look at our envelope. I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to be good and move all of this. I feel like I just want a quick spritz over on this envelope. I want to keep some white still. little, but it just takes the stark off. Okay. I want that to dry quick. And then I'm going to bring in this. This is the Gold Bullion wax from Jamie Rogers Crafts, and it's oil-based. So like a gilding wax, I'm going to do the edges of this little... Beautiful. Right, let's just make this like so.
Hello.
Give that a crease.
Yes.
Right then, let's get this stuck.
Oh, you sound a bit croaky.
Just going to use a bit of tacky.
Oh dear.
There we go. And just, oh, I've got a mucky print on there. That's rather annoying. Never mind.
We have the little misters back in stock.
Okay.
They're in a pack of 3.
There we go. So hopefully you can't see my fingerprint. Now I'm just going to take some of the wax and just skim around the edge, just to put a little bit of... Got it up my fingernail and everywhere.
Yes.
I'm going to have to just make that a little bit aged now, because purely because I got a dirty mark on it. There we go. So we've got a nice bit of shimmer there. And then for the little card that's going to go inside, I'm going to use some of the pink. To ink around there. And then for this bit, I'm going to put a little bit of colour on there. I'm feeling a bit of green. I don't know why. Let's go for the green.
Yeah, you do sound a bit croaky.
And I'm just going to put a soft tint of green over there. I'm going to go a little bit heavy around the outside. There, that bottom bit as well. There we go. And then a little bit of stamping onto there. Let's go for a little bit of coffee ring. I feel like I need a little bit of black on that. Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. I think I've missed. Did you count there? Let me start again. Is it 4?
There we go. Just soft.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a bit of script. But this time I'm going to do the script in green.
3 digits on the back. House number 5.
There we go. That'll give us a little bit of a card base.
I'm buying that one from you.
You found it then?
Yes, that's all gone through and I can get that in the post to you today. Okay then, thank
Okay.
you.
Pop that one on there. Okay. And then what I've done is I've gone ahead and die cut. Come here. Da, da, da. I've got my 2 little hearts. Well, I've got 1 actually. That's in the die set. And I've got thank and you. So I'm going to stick these down. And have the thank across there. And then the you. And then they are going to be, what colour are they going to be? maybe I'll have some pink. And some yellow. There you go. I'm just going to use this pin to get them bits out. Tweezers. I've lost my tweezers. Can I see them? Right, they have gone for a big walk. I found them.
They're buried.
They were buried. So pop my thank on there. And my you. So this card is to all of you. Thank you for your custom and your continued support. There we go. Cute little card. And then the little heart, I'm gonna just use a bit of wax on there. In fact, I might just rub it a little bit around here as well, because it won't be rude not to. There we go. It's got that nice little bit of shine on there. That's going to stick in there. In fact, this needs a bit of colour on it, and I don't know if I can get it on now because I put the wax on. Oh. Okay, I'll go with that. So this little heart is going to go on here. Right, let's bring in our piece and try and get it so that you can see it. Okay, that's a good position. Now I just need to layer this up. I will be using some of my pads on a roll. So for those of you that haven't seen these before, there's 1,000 on a roll, and they get delivered to you in a pizza box. So you've got a little house for them to live in, so that they just all stay together. Okay, so I'm thinking I want to be able to see those. That kind of works, yeah. And then what I've got is some, you know, I said I painted in all the leaves, so I can poke these little bits in. There's even a little bud as well. So I've used all of the elements from the stamp, but I've kind of deconstructed it so that I can then tuck in all of these little elements and still use them. Even if there's bits of the leaf missing, it's still gonna work. Yeah, that's gonna work. Okay. So now I've just got to stick it all down. So I'll start off with that leaf there. It's not a leaf. And then we'll pop this one in. Need topping up with glue. Like that. And then we'll have another couple of pads on here.
So are we open this weekend?
Yes, we are. So we are open. We don't open on Sundays, but we're open on Friday 10 till 3, Saturday 10 till 3. It's the following week that we won't be open on Saturday. Now I think there. And I think the extra bits of detail on them roses look really cool. But this is a prime example of mixing your stash all up together and getting fab. So I'm just making sure I cover up the bits. There. I'm not being tight with my pads because I've got plenty of them. Right. And then, ooh. So I'm looking at this area here to get an equal kind of border there. And I feel like, I mean, I like that that just pokes in there, but I feel like I want to stick it in place. So I'm going to use one tab and just pop that in at an angle, like so. Are they all stuck? Oh no, got one here. Here, here, maybe under here. Yeah, there. Okay, put my lid on there. In fact, now I'm just going to add a little bit of wax around the edge. And purely just to pop it off the card when I'm at and layer it on. My hand slit there. I have to come in a bit more. Yeah, perfect. Right, let's get lid on. Lid on there. So we just need to spritz that. Bring the card blank in. Bye, Mr. Postie. I've just gone round to the post office to put all the parcels in. Okay, we should have a nice equal. This is a very cheery, bright and cheery birthday. Well, it could be anything you want it to be, couldn't it? I've put thank you on there, but it could be anything. Different colours. I just think, what a bargain. £7 for the stamp set and the die set. I'm going to flip you up and see if I can show you this in the light, because then hopefully you'll be able to see the shimmer. I can see it. There you go. But there's your finished card. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've had fun. I spent the whole day. Just got to plan the workshop cards for next week and I'm nearly up to date. So when will you next see me? Saturday at 4 o'clock, I think. If it changes, I'll post it in the group, but I think it's 4 o'clock. I don't know what I'm going to be making. I'll find something. If you've got any requests, feel free to pop them on this post. If there's anything that you think, oh, I'd love it if you use this, or I really can't remember how to do this technique, I'm always open to suggestions. That's the word. So, yeah, thank you again for joining me. Enjoy your weekend. Well, no, it's not weekend yet, is it? because we're only Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you at the weekend. Ta-ra!